All right, J Larose, welcome to the Jigsaw Files, the Saw podcast. How are you? You guys can't see him, but he's here. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, what's going on, man? And welcome. Thank you for having me on. It's very cool.
Absolutely,
Yeah, doing
absolutely.
stuff.
Now obviously the rest of the episode we're going to talk about our thoughts on Saw 3, but we're here just to talk about you. We're gonna make this about you a little bit. So,
Well, that should be
uh,
quick. You can spend a minute for that.
right. So Chad, you're just so Jay knows, like, what's your first experience with Saw 3, man?
Uh, like the other two, saw it in theaters opening weekend. It became, a staple for me and my friends to go every Halloween. That's when the film
Uh-huh.
usually came out. And
Exactly.
I remember, I think, I think there was a teaser or like a teaser promo pic or something of you with all the chains and stuff in
Oh
you, and
yeah.
we were just everyone lost their minds. It was like, oh shit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
then,
No.
and,
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't let you finish.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I think my connection kind of bugged out there for a second, but yeah, me and my friends, we were in high school, I think, at the time, and yeah, everyone lost their minds. I mean, that was before what social media is now, obviously, but
Yeah.
and then obviously watching it on the big screen, and then uh, not watching it for a few years, and then watching it just this afternoon again for the first time in quite a while. It was like, holy crap, that it
Mm,
hits a lot harder now. It's like,
yeah,
geez.
man.
Oh, good. I haven't watched it myself in a long time, just because I don't. But that's good. So it kind of holds up, huh? Still got a little ouch to it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I would say
absolutely.
so. Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah, for me, like, I remember, obviously, yes, I had seen the second one in theaters. I had seen the first one and all that stuff like that. So I was excited for three. But I remember the first promo thing that I saw was like a little 30-second TV spot. And at the end, Jigsaw comes on the TV and he's like, "Hello, America. Do you want to play the game?" I'm like, I just thought like that one little change in dialogue was just so cool. Just because, it was great marketing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw it. I watched it. I loved it. Yeah, that was great. But for you, Jay, this is a little bit, you're on the other side of it. So,
Yeah.
it's been like, I think 17 years since Saw 3, if I did
Yeah,
my
man. A
math
long
correctly.
time. Yeah, that's
So,
right.
yeah, a lot of time has passed. How does it feel now being a part of that Saw legacy? Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, the fact that you're even talking to me right now is pretty cool. So that's a nice thing. I mean, it is something that kind of holds up because it's not really dated except if you want to bring in cell phones and stuff like that. But anyhow, no, it's very cool. When I don't mind bragging. I know it's 17 years old, but it's not as an actor that got to be in something that got such a high profile project. It was a blessing, and it introduced me to a lot of people. So I appreciate that to this day. I've made a lot of friends, through that wouldn't have happened unless I was in the movie, which led to this or that, and then that led to those conventions and appearances, and just meeting people and getting to chat and really getting to know the horror fan base, which is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And speaking of friendships, I have to bring this up. I did my homework a little bit. You were actually in Darren Bousman's first short film, Butterfly Dreams, and then of
Yeah.
course Saw 3 came a little bit later. What I want to know is how did that? And you've been in many Darren Lynn Bousman, if not all of
Yeah.
them, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh,
Mother's Day, Repo, Devil's Carnival, all that stuff. So, how did you and Darren meet in the first place? Like, how did you even meet him before Butterfly Dreams? How did that come about?
yeah, it's a fun story for me to tell because it's a one of these you never know who's going to be where or when. And
Mhm.
so a while back when Darren was in film school, and at the time I was just having I guess a midlife crisis, decided I want to be an actor all of a sudden. So I was in the midst of taking classes. I was in a workshops and taking classes, and a buddy of mine who I was doing a one act play with went to yeah, it's cool. Went to audition for a play for a a student film. Basically, it wasn't quote unquote student film because the person directing it, Darren, was just leaving the school. He'd already graduated, I think, but they were letting him use equipment and whatnot, full sale.
Okay.
So I think I got that right. But anyhow, regardless, I went to the audition with him, and I ended up getting the role that he went to audition for, and that's because Darren, bless his soul, sees out of the box. He doesn't just see the breakdown for the role was all-American father, type figure, and I don't fit that. It was, of course, my buddy was this handsome white dude, and that's who it was written for, I'm sure, but Darren again sees outside the the lines, and that's why I love him. And we became instant friends and close friends every minute since, and that's why he throws me a bone when he does most of his projects. Yes.
Yeah, like he seems like he's great to work with, and again, like you have been in pretty much all of his projects since. So obviously for you, that must be a great thing to keep working with them, and it's like friends getting back together again.
Yeah, no, the few that I haven't, we talk to each other every week, so it's we keep we know what's going on for the most part, and sometimes, it's producer's call on these projects, and so he tries to get me in, or there's just not a role that just makes sense, and why not force it. But Saw was the first one for me. He did Saw 2, but he couldn't bring me in because he was, he wasn't anybody at that point. That was his first biggie. But when he got that under his belt, proved he can do it, then he introduced me to the producers, and that made that happen. And so again, and that was a few years later. So this was, meanwhile, between that was him going out to LA, me staying on the East Coast, him, living the LA thing and, trying to make things happen while I was back here, but we remained close friends. And again, it's, just be cool with people you work with, and you never know who's going where and who can, maybe help out a little later,
Absolutely. Chad, you're kind of acting. Do you kind of get that thing now that you're kind of working with something seriously, because you're starting to work with like the same crew on a lot of projects? Like, do you kind of get what he's talking about?
Yeah,
a little bit?
I can relate. Yeah, I can definitely relate.
This is a stupid. We don't have to answer this one, but I was watching Devil's Carnival again last night, and I gotta know, were you able to keep that epic mustache? I mean, come on. Were you able to take that
I'm sure I've got it. I don't know. You know what? No, I actually didn't, because those things kind of aren't cheap, So
right.
I think that they probably held on to it, and cleaned it and whatnot, just in case, we get back together. Right. And I bet it's archived someplace. If they're smart, they did that. Or they did it for a little while and they thought, oh, well, now it's never going to happen.
No one's going to use this. Just toss it.
No, it was an epic mustache, man. That was, again, that's another awesome thing that Darren, gets to, you threw me that bone and I get to play in that show, which was amazing. You can see. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Troy, the character of Troy, going into Saw 3 now, he doesn't really have too much of, like, we don't know too much about him, is what I'm saying here. Nothing. He just kind of wakes up. We know that he gets in and out of prison, hence Jigsaw's line, more comfortable in chains than you are in freedom, yada yada yada. So, like, are you the kind of actor who tries to build a backstory for like a small role like that in your own head, to kind of like, okay, who is this character? So, like, who was Troy to you? Like, what's his background? What's his history that maybe we didn't see, if there is one?
I won't go into my backstory. Yes, of course I did a backstory, huge backstory, because my goal though was, as an actor, you just go through these exercises and whatnot, but the thing for me on this one was I've never experienced having chains pierced through, so I really don't know that feeling. So I have to figure out what could what could I have done so bad that I deserve this shit, right? so you just have to start imagining things like that, but I definitely had a backstory, but I don't really want to go into it or anything, because it's working to death, believe me, and it's very methodical. But anyhow, but it's more just getting in the mindset of, okay, what's this cat? Why is he here? And what kind of pain would you really have if you were pierced like this? Obviously, it's a lot of it's psychological. It's gross. Like, even while I was doing the makeup, it was psychologically when you're getting near the end, you glance, you know, I'm talking with somebody because, you know, this is ours, and two wonderful artists worked on me. And then all of a sudden I glanced down at, you know, my Achilles with the thing already rigged up.
That's the one that gets me every time.
Yeah, so it gives me the willies too. And
that and the jaw.
One time I vividly remember you get kind of flush, you know, where you kind of start sweating for a moment. I think your body your brain gets fooled, I guess, man. And again, that's you know, that's just the artistry. So, you know, it's not me, man. It's everybody around me. It's this village. I'm just the fool in the middle of that village that they dress up and tortured a little bit. But it was everybody else that made that scene so cool. And the editing.
I was going to say, it's Kevin's editing too.
Man, Kevin's brilliant. Yeah. And So, and the music, of course, the sound design, Charlie, and just everything, man. And Darren, of course, he's a genius. So.
Yeah, he helped a little bit. Yeah,
the music in 3 hits pretty hard.
It's really good.
So how was?
Oh my gosh,
how was shooting that scene? How was the experience shooting that scene overall?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I'll just start there, so you don't think I'm delaying to try to, you know, No, it was amazing because for me, it was really the biggest job I've ever had, and you know, on the highest profile thing I've ever had. You know, I still kind of a beginning actor, and what was great is there really was no dialogue. I was just, you know, trying to get out of the situation, so that takes a lot of pressure off, you know, for me. So now I could just emote, you know, whatever, and so, but it was nerve-wracking too because it was one day, we shot one day, but it was a day fully dedicated to the scene. So you know, it was. So I got in early but I'm not like I was the first one there. There was crew way before me getting ready for me to be there, like makeup, because we went into makeup. I forget, it was about 4 hours. There were 2 guys working on me for 4 hours, and Damon and Francois. I forget.
Francois, yeah, I was gonna bring
him. Yeah, but they're both amazing and very nice too. You know, so they're chatty, and I mean, they were chatting with me to keep me, you know, because I had to pretty much stand the whole time. But man, it was just so fascinating. So it was great, and since it was one day, you know, it was totally easy for me because I was totally entertained by it because it was just all new to me. You know, you hear about this Jim Carrey going through nightmares forever when he did that Grinch thing because he was in makeup for went through makeup for hours and hours every day for months. You know, I mean, there's no way he went nuts. They said he just would. But anyway, let's talk about me. But no, it was one day, and it was so entertaining. And we went out there. Everybody's so nice, and you know, not because it's me, but because they wanted to go well, and they want to go to lunch, and then they want to go home, and you know, and then the more it goes wrong, the more we were shooting. But anyhow, everybody's brilliant, and very caring, and but it was a great day. We shot. You could see the scene. The embarrassing part, I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again because it's a great story. The very first thing I do, I get out there, and they walk me out there carefully because I got all this stuff on me, and you know. I got to be kind of, it's firm, but it's gentle. You know, it's brittle. It could rip out. So anyway, so they're attaching those chains from all the walls and whatever, and they set up the chair and whatnot. But there's like a puddle of blood that's below me, right? So they put all that. And before we started rolling, I slipped on that and fell on my ass into that little puddle of blood. So I feel stupid. First of all, because it's. All eyes are on you, man. You got a crew of all these people around you. I mean, like 100 people. So I get up, but you know, it's fine. They were cool about it. But if you notice, when I first stand up, I got like, you know, blood on my cheeks, if you will. Cheeks.
Oh yeah, I did notice that.
It's in the underwear, but you know, that's because I had fallen a minute before. We couldn't do the whole order. Anyhow, but then the shot, we shot and shot. You know, very methodically. See. You know, you got to do it piecemeal and do different angles and all that fun stuff. But it was just so much fun for me and such a great experience. And so it was one of the greatest days ever.
All right, that's a great story, by the way. Every time I watch that scene, I'm gonna think of Jay's fucking.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed. I am. Oh man,
no, it's a great story. That I didn't know. Now I don't know if you know this. I mean, I'm sure you do. But I just, you know, like. spitting out fun Saw facts. That's what I do here. But originally, this was probably way before you came onto the project, but they were talking about like having him like suspended by the chains in the air.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear anything about that? What you
Oh
got
yeah, man. I had David Hackle, who does all the building of these things. He's a production designer. I think that's his title.
Yep.
But they give him the schematics, and these things are real things, man. I mean, like that cross and so. I mean, for the it's not the real thing, but they can do what they look like they're doing. And he had drawings, this beautiful renderings all over his offices of the different possibilities. And one was the suspension of the thing. And so I got to see an actual beautiful rendering of it. And Heckle, man, he's a cool dude, and he's super talented. He's directing all the time now, though. Yep. But anyhow, no, I did hear that. That was a long answer. Sorry.
No, it's great. Chad, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
How was seeing the final product? How was seeing the scene? How it came out in the movie?
Yeah, well, that was, again, this whole adventure for that was really thrilling for me. The one thing they had this they had a big event in LA every year. I don't know if it's Scream Fest or something, but everybody's there at that back then. And Tarantino and all these guys are in the audience, and their teaser. The teaser was my scene. For the so I heard Darren was there. I didn't get to go. I mean, I didn't know about it, and I didn't go. And but Darren was in the audience, and again, all these cool cats out there were in the audience, and they got a really good reception. But cool. I got to go to the premiere in Vegas with that Lionsgate put on, and nice. Do the whole red carpet and thing like that, and that's where I kind of really first saw it, for on the big screen, and it was, of course, crazy, breathtaking, and fun, but kind of embarrassing too. I'm kind of one of those guys that gets embarrassed about what I see. But I'll tell you what the coolest. I'll tell you another story. I'll squeeze one in if you guys got to go cut me off.
Absolutely.
But, no, go ahead.
But when they released it, we were out in LA, or I was out in LA. I don't live out there, but everybody out there's out anyhow. But they had arranged a limousine. And Darren and Shawnee Smith and myself and gosh, I forget who else was in there, but a few of us, we would go to the theaters and we would watch the audience reaction. We'd go up, we'd kind of stand on the side and just kind of watch, because they're not watching us. They don't care. LA is it's easy to just kind of walk around, get away with that kind of stuff. And so that was a blast. And a couple of times we'd stand near the bottom where you walk out and you have to see where we are. They're not gonna notice me, but Shawnee Smith, man, you're gonna recognize Shawnee, but they're walking right by her, and it's so awesome.
Not to mention the fact that you also have clothes on this time.
True. All right, thanks, man, throwing me at some. No, I think Lyric might have been with us too, Lyric Ben. So
okay,
yeah. But anyhow, so that was fun for me. I don't really live the LA lifestyle, but that was kind of thrilling for me to get a chance to do that. I just need that taste. And that was enough for me. I don't need that again. But that was really fun.
That's cool.
All right. So now I got a couple of questions from the Saw fans. If you care to answer those a little bit.
Sure.
We kind of already talked about this one a little bit, but Georgina, I'm gonna butcher these names. I'm so sorry. Georgina Baravescos. She's from Melbourne, and she wants to. Can you talk about like the process of doing that scene? But we kind of already went into that. Was there any other details of that you wanted to share?
No, I mean, we got in there. Obviously, the wardrobe wasn't that much, so we didn't have to do too much, with that, throwing that on. And so it was really all about applying all that makeup. The makeup's really cool, though. I mean, I'll go into that a little more detail. So let's say like you're like a tricep, putting something through my tricep skin. So they put on a little layer like of rubber on there. It's like a rubbery product. And then they blend it in, and then they bloody it up, and then they put that like a shower curtain type thing through it. I mean, it's not that. But these guys, it's not like they're just going to the hardware store picking all this stuff up. They test all this stuff for days, make sure it's not going to make people's skin break out. They got to consider complexion. They got to consider rebuild if it tears. When I slipped, I mentioned I slipped. I did rip the one through my arm out. I think it was my arm I ripped out a little bit. Didn't come out completely, luckily. but but that's hours that I would have,
Yeah.
taken them. I'm not to redo the whole thing would have been they patched it up good. But anyhow, so that's a little more detail on that. Afterwards, it probably took an hour to get all that crap off of me because I was drenched in all that, that candy. They hear it's candy syrup and that blood that they put in your mouth and stuff. It's pretty much true. So it's stickier than all. It's like taking a bath in syrup and then trying to wash it out. So that's always fun. And I have this mop of hair. So that's always. And I think I had that blood on me for probably a few weeks, a little bit here and there.
Oh, wow.
Finding it. But all for a great, great, great cause because it was so much.
It worked out,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. The Midnight Woodsman, he wants to know if you were really in that situation, you, Jay, not Troy, would you have tried to rip the mouth one out or would you have just left that one in there?
No, because it was written that way that the character would rip his mouth out. But when I got there and we were doing it, it was like, well, there's no way he'd be able to do this. So that's why I immediately switched gears and went for the ground and tried to pull up from the floor. That was a choice I just made, because it just made sense at the time that, there's no way that I could, at least in my mind, that I could rip that jaw off. I don't know. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe a good head jerk backwards might do it, I suppose.
Maybe, but even then, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, there's, you start, I'm an actor that tries not to overthink certain things.
Right.
I mean, if you do, then you go, well, if you pull out your Achilles, there's no way you could be standing still, right?
Right.
Supposedly that's a thing. If you cut your Achilles, there's no way you could stand anymore. So
Right.
spoiler alert for, those doctors that watch the movie, but no, it's you got to suspend some of that and just enjoy, sit back.
What about you, Chad? Would you rip the one in the mouth out, or would you leave that?
No, that one. That was probably the worst one to watch. It's like, oh no.
The Achilles and the mouth are probably the two that I would just leave in and be like,
Yeah.
You know what? No.
The mouth one was kind of nice because it kind of gave me that excuse for being garbly and it made me feel like more animal like when I was screeching for help because I felt that's the one that really felt contained. The rest of them I was having a baby, because I didn't want to rip them. That one though, if I pulled back, probably would have hurt, a little. They had it rigged really well, and it was as safe and as comfortable as it could be.
Right.
But it was still made me feel like, all right, this one makes me feel trapped and a little bit claustrophobic, And so that's one that makes you feel a little more animal, like I got to get out of this. So you kind of feed off that kind of stuff. Now, we're shooting a lot of short little scenes, and we're shooting bunches of them. So it's, I'm not Daniel Day-Lewis where I'm in this, character like every second in between either. So
method acting, right.
Man. But anyhow, no, that's good.
All right. Dan Wise, he wants to know. I know you're only on set for a day, but it's been said.
No, I was on set for many more days because me and Darren are buddies.
That's true. That's true. I was gonna say Tobin is known for hanging out on days even when he's not. working. So
man.
He wants to know: Did you get to interact with Tobin at all? Is basically Dan's question.
Oh gosh, yeah. Tobin was great. For the most part, he's kind of a quiet guy. When I say that, I think it's like he's thoughtful. I think he's always thinking about things. But anyhow, no, he was. I since it's Darren and I love the biz. I was on set a lot. I worked one day, but I was there a lot, and so I got to see a lot of fun stuff and meet everybody and hang out and party with everybody. And Tobin's brilliant. He's very nice and he's kind of intimidating because I only see him 99% of the time that I see him, it's his character. So the 1% where I'm just hanging with him, I still got all that hanging around in my, in my system. So you're still thinking about it. But we had got some great time. And Shawnee Smith's another one, man. She's, I didn't have any scene with her, but she's just so nice and cool and everybody falls in love with her, and there's a reason.
Oh yeah,
she's got it, man. She's just she's so cool. But
all right. Jacqueline. Oh my goodness, this last name. I'm so sorry if I butcher this. Jacqueline Lasella. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Which do you? I don't know how you can ask an actor this, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
Which do you enjoy doing more? I guess which do you prefer doing? I guess regular horror movies, just your standard horror stuff, or the horror musicals like Repo and Devil's Carnival and all. I imagine like they're similar experiences on set, but also very different at the same time. Like I imagine that's how I picture it.
No, they're both completely different experiences because, well, the music one is you shoot a music video basically. So you're having to mouth everything. You're really singing because it doesn't look right when you mouth it but don't really make a noise. That doesn't work. But they're blaring the music, so everything's a choreographed thing, and so that's way different than. I mean, we block when we're acting other scenes. We block what we're doing, meaning we set up what we're going to do and where we're going to walk, so it's all choreographed. But so it was quite different. So therefore, completely different experiences and very interesting both. Do I have a preference?
Yeah,
it all becomes kind of the material, I guess. I don't know. If I said. I don't know if I could do. I'm super into music right now, just because I'm not really working, so I turn to music, and music is kind of everything I do right now. Just goofing around, just around the house and check. But anyhow, so I don't know. Musical would be a lot of fun. I'm actually with my singing partner. One of the couple of songs we selected are from show tunes because it's a different genre than we normally. I sing a lot of. We normally sing like country, western, that kind of thing, or pop, a little bit, or covers, classic rock.
Right.
But it's all covers, but classic rock. But just to try a different genre, we're testing our range and whatnot with show tunes. And what was the other one we did? Oh, like an old one, like an old kind of crooning type thing. So anyhow, it's been a lot of fun. So I guess I'd choose musical today. Ask me tomorrow and it might be different.
Nice. Well, there you go, Jacqueline. I hope that answers your question. Chad, anything else that you wanted to add on to any of this? Or any other things you wanted to know?
No, I'm good.
Jay, anything else you want to say or talk about? Or
no, just appreciate the attention still to this franchise because Kevin just wrapped the next one, I believe. And so that'll be interesting. On a personal note, I'm in a show on HBO called The Righteous Gemstones, and it's a lot of fun. My part is very modest, but the show is bonkers funny. It's on HBO again. The Righteous Gemstones. It's Danny McBride's latest show, and Dan McBride and John Goodman, Adam Devine. And Edie Patterson, and they're all brilliant. So check it out, man. Otherwise, thank you guys. This is very fun.
Absolutely,
absolutely.
Anytime, just reach.
Yeah, thank you for coming on and doing this and taking time out of your day or night or whatever it is for you over there. But no, we really appreciate it, and just sitting down and reminiscing a little bit and talking to us.
Right on, man. And
you are welcome back anytime you want to come, by the way. I'm going to say that's all the guests we have.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to y'all.
Thank you. You too.
And we'll catch you next time. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Have a good one.